Hi everyone. So just going to talk a little bit about the resonance of relationships and how it works out for us when things feel like they start to fall apart, or we feel that we no longer kind of connect with the person on the same way. And that can be romantic relationships or relationships with friends and family as well. Obviously with family you're drawn into things in a slightly different context. But I think with relationships that are related to love and friendship, quite often we can feel pressurized to maintain a certain relationship or stay in a certain situation because we feel that it we just feel that we should, whether it's feeling that there is pressure to maintain a commitment or pressures that come sort of more externally as well. A lot of that is to do with our kind of social backgrounds and understanding. Of course, there's been many generations where we kind of carry the energetic imprint of a negative view on the breaking up of relationships, despite the fact that in some situations it's the best thing to happen. So that might be friends that you've outgrown, that you may have known since you were very young, but you no longer have anything in common with, but you feel like you still need to kind of maintain that friendship with that person. But really, to me, this is quite an outdated modality. And although it can feel sad to let go of something when it's been in your life for a long time, we are here to have experience, and our kind of the purpose for incarnation is for the expansion of our consciousness. So if we don't allow ourselves to move with the changes that we are called to make, or to recognize when we're no longer in resonance with a certain person or situation, then we prevent ourselves from tuning into that expansion, from experiencing it, from being able to lift our own vibration. So you may find that that's happening, that there's friends that you kind of no longer feel that you gel with, and it's more difficult, it feels more awkward, your kind of laughter and your good times don't seem to be flowing as easily. That could just be because you are actually outgrowing each other. Either they or you or both of you are working at different vibrations to what you were when you first became friends. And that's the same with relationships too. So often we will meet someone and have a strong connection with them because at that time that's the vibration that we're in. We are in the same resonance as them. And so there is also something about that person that reflects something back to us that we maybe need for our own growth. So we end up connecting with that person and maybe taking it somewhere. And quite often that will go on sometimes for days, sometimes it'll go on for years, and we'll continue to grow and be well bonded together through our experiences. But often there's going to come a point where one of us is shifting vibration at a rate that doesn't match the other person's, and then eventually you sort of become out of resonance. Now, if you can recognize those kind of things early, then you can possibly work together to try and keep your frequency more aligned, to keep things working for you. But it's not always that easy to recognize it when it's happening, and often we realize that there are problems after the energetic part of the imbalance has already occurred, and it's quite difficult to bring any kind of relationship back into alignment once the energy has already shifted. So it's a little bit like energy healing of the body. Quite often where the imbalances of energy are within the body come much before the physical manifestation of an ailment. So think of it in the same kind of terms. So the imbalances within the relationship will often come energetically before the arguments or the kind of feeling of distance or emotional disconnection that then later comes. Sometimes we recognize it early and we can do something about it, but sometimes it's not that easy. And also we need to bear in mind that whilst we might be awake and in tune with the fact that the energy is changing and that something needs to shift, you can work on yourself, and you can maybe encourage your partner to work on that as well, but they still have free will. And so if the other person at soul level, or even at the kind of conscious, this is my incarnation, doesn't want to change their vibration to match yours, then there's not really anything that you can do about that, because that's their journey, that's their choice, it's their soul's kind of pattern that's been laid out before. So then where do you go from that? Do you allow yourself to crumble underneath that if the relationship ends up in a separation? Or do you use it as an opportunity for your own growth and expansion? Because I really believe that inevitably, if you do go through a period where you are called to change anything, whether it's your work, your living situation, your relationship with friends, family, or lovers, whatever it is, if you go through that, it's because you are at a period in your life where you need to step to the next level of growth. So maybe you've been trying to manifest something and it's not working out, and you kind of can't work out why, because you're doing all the right things, you're ticking all the right boxes, you're trying to lift your vibration, but actually there's something that isn't suitable in your life that you're not quite feeling that you want to let go of. But if you have that feeling, if you know there's that niggle there, that there's something that isn't quite right, but you're not allowing yourself to let go of it, you're actually still holding your vibration down. So it's kind of like cutting the weight off of a helium balloon. It's not going to be able to lift and rise until the density that's holding it down has gone. So just consider that when you look at the changes that occur in your life, because most of them, even if they feel difficult, are going to be a positive change, especially if it's one that you're feeling strongly called to make, or if it's one that just kind of feels like it's inevitable. Learn that that is an opportunity for you to lift your frequency, and it doesn't need to be something that brings you down and causes you pain and trauma. A lot of it will depend on the perspective that you have of the experience, and whether you can shift that perspective, whether you can shift the mind chatter that comes in about that experience in order to see it as an opportunity for growth and be grateful for anything that you learn and the abundance that is going to be created from lifting the density out of the situation and lifting your vibration.